Hello, this is Spellbinder's report on the unfiltered news from the reality zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin. This is for 2011, April 9th through the 15th. Sorry I missed last week. It was a busy week last week. Okay, what we got here is raising the debt ceiling, and it's the children are going to be the one to help the government out of this eventually. Yes, there would be the slaves. Oh, let's go to the first story here and get this off the road here, ongoing. U.S. federal government announced budget cuts of $38 billion is based on Enron-style accounting. Here are details of actual expenditures. PPJ Gazette, April 15th. Massachusetts woman is sentenced to 8 to 10 years prison for withholding chemotherapy from her autistic son, who later died from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. In other words, he didn't even have the cancer they said he had, and they wanted to give him chemotherapy and kill him a nice, evil way. Very painful. If chemotherapy had not been withheld, the child died from complications of drug, not uncommon. Would the doctors and government officials who demanded it be sentenced to prison? Of course not. Collectivism is a stacked deck. ABC News, April 15th. Detroit, 10-hour siege, and a SWAT team, and even a tank at jets. The police response to a mother who refused to give her child psychotropic drugs. Police say that after they broke down her door, she fired a shot. This has not been confirmed, nor is it known yet if police had a court order authorizing entry by force. Daily Mail, April 15th. U.S. 2 million homes already have been foreclosed or being held by banks. They do this so not to write them off their books, which would cause their true asset values to be revealed, and that would push them into bankruptcy because the houses would be worth a quarter of what they're wanting to get for them. An additional 6.7 million homes with delinquent mortgages are waiting to flood the market. Check here to see the worst 10 counties where the flood will occur. Business Insider, April 14th. Here we go. 20 atomic deserts. Yes, here you go. A list of places worldwide that are uninhabitable due to radiation. Some of the areas are polluted from nuclear power waste, and some are from bombs. Spiegel, April 14th. Bolivia. President Morales will nationalize all privately held silver, zinc, and tin mines. He has a history of expropriating privately held companies. Collectivist governments eventually take over mines and all other means of production as soon as some suitable crisis provides an excuse. This is a good reason to hold physical assets, such as gold and silver coins, instead of paper assets, such as stock certificates in gold or silver mines. Zero Hedge, April 14th. BRICS. Brazil's Russian, India, China, and South America, which accounts for 40% of the world's population, are joining forces for more power at the UN to influence the new world currency that will soon replace the US dollar in international trade. April 13th. Japan, nuclear disaster is now rated as 7, the highest level. Chernobyl is the only other level 7 emergency. Chernobyl spewed 10 times more radiation than Fukushima, but is not yet under control. Sorry about the mispronunciation on that. I've heard it all day long, and for some reason or another, I'm not pronouncing it right. April 13th, U.S. federal government orders 14 major banks, including Citibank, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, and Wells Fargo, to reimburse homeowners who were victims of foreclosure improprieties. Sounds just like justice is finally being done. But wait, there's no definition of what constitutes an impropriety. Our guess is, when the smoke clears, there will be few improprieties found, and this will be exposed as just another public relations gesture to keep the public happy with words instead of deeds. Yahoo, April 13th. Interesting. U.S. amid a crippling depression, J.P. Morgan Chase posts a profit of $5.6 billion in the first quarter and claims the economy is recovering. Most of the metrics used to justify that claim are based on the fact that customers are once again going deeper into debt. That may be good for the banks, but not necessarily good for the borrowers on the nation. Debt is the poison that has brought America to her knees. Comcast, April 13. International pressure mounts to destroy the last 2 remaining batches of the smallpox virus that was eradicated in the 1970s. However, these are held by the U.S. Center of Disease Control and a Russian facility in Siberia. Neither government wants to destroy the virus. Could biological warfare be the reason? Popular Science, April 13. Yes, that's probably what it is. European warns to avoid drinking milk or eating vegetables due to high radiation levels. Natural News, April 12. The IRS to pre-calculate the amount of taxes a citizen owes ahead of time and may reject any return that doesn't comply with its determination. That's right. They will now decide how much money you give to them. They are the sheriff of Nottingham's men who go out and turn you upside down and shake the money from you. Sovereign Man, April 12. Iceland, for the second time, votes against repaying Britain and Netherlands $5 billion in bank debt. Bankers who created the debt are being prosecuted. Banks around the world are paying close attention and making sure that, in their respective countries, the people must never be allowed to vote on this issue. Prison Planet, April 11th. That's right, Iceland's not putting up with it. They're not turning belly up like the Greeks did and say, here, have an island, here, have this island too, to pay our debt that we don't owe. U.S. military spending has almost doubled since 2001. Think Progress 2011, April 11. U.S. numerous countries now have home vacancy rates above 55%, as high as 66%, effectively turning communities into ghost towns. April 11th. Man, turning into ghost town. So-called eco-friendly LED light bulbs are loaded with lead and arsenic that can contaminate the environment and pose long-term health risk. Of course, the safest bulbs of all, the incandescents, with the wire in it, has been banned in America and will be outlawed by 2013. You won't be able to get any of those, so you better buy up now while you can still find them in places like Odd Lots and China Mart stores. April 11th. India's government is to issue national biometric ID cards, including fingerprints and photos. The excuse is they are necessary for tax collection. Of course. Times of India, April 11th. They gotta make sure they get their money in their pockets. Boston thermal photo imaging to monitor heat loss from homes is put on hold because of concern that infrared cameras can detect human activity inside and are an invasion of privacy. Outside of Boston, no one seems to care. There is no mention of the fact that the government is ramping up the regulated allowable levels of heat loss. If your home is too drafty, you will be forced to make improvements. No one seems to care about that either. CBS Boston, April 11th. Chicago schools ban students from bringing homemade lunches, even though they may be healthier and cheaper than school lunches. Of course, you gotta have your processed meat and your poisoned other foods that they put in there, the milk and stuff. Oh yeah, there is no room for freedom of choice in a collectivist system. And this is again in Chicago. It's the Chicago Tribune, April 11th. And of course Chicago is the mafia control freak state of the Union. Of course Chicago is control freaks, mafians. Monsanto modifies soybeans to grow fish oil. Tasty. Now we can get our fish oil from soybeans through genetic engineering, even though it's been proven that GMO kills what eats it. GMO beans are crossed with a flour and a mold enzyme to create a synthetic omega-3 oil, which is found in natural products like fish, whole grains, flaxseed, fruits and vegetables. So why? Forbes, April 11th. Egypt. Now that a democratic government has taken over Egypt, a civilian blogger has been sentenced to 3 years in prison by a military tribunal for criticizing the military. Notice how the Associated Press softens the story with such phrases as "this raises activist fears that the army is against a greater freedom of expression and that this could set a precedent for anyone seeking to expose wrongdoings or abuses by the military." Activist fear could set a precedent? AFP, April 11th. UN Global Treaty aims to give Mother Earth the same rights as humans. Bolivia has already passed a law that makes bugs, trees, and all life forms equal to humans. This is a trend, but these laws have nothing to do with protecting the Earth or its lowly creatures. It's all about justifying more political and economic control over humans, of course. Don't you know? Japan earthquake moves the ground in an almost liquid fashion. At times it looks like a huge breathing animal. The video says this was only a 3.11 aftershock. It was amazing. I watched that. That was pretty amazing video. That was YouTube, April 10. FBI next generation technology is here. It includes iris scans, face recognition, gait analysis, and scent detection, and will be fully implemented by 2014. Post Gazette, April 10. Control and dominates. US FCC refuses to honor Freedom of Information requests for communications with the wireless industry about harmful effects of cell phones. The FCC has downplayed the health effects of cell phones. Why would trustworthy public servants want to conceal their communications? Privacy, maybe? They're crazy. Public servants are hiding the truth about radiation poisoning. Again, from cell phones. San Francisco Gate, April 9th. U.S. First cousin George W. Bush provides over a trial against Cheney, Rumsfeld, and General Myers for the participation in 9/11. Is anyone surprised that the court is hostile to any challenge to the government's official version of 9/11? CNBC, April 9th. The U.S. government claims that radiation from Japan in U.S. drinking water is not high enough to be a health threat, but many people are still concerned. If you are one of them, this article recommends 3 filtration systems for drinking water. Yeah, it's accumulative, people. I don't care how low it is, it's accumulative. Well, I'm not going to be able to get to these videos and stuff. I'm running out of time real quick. Dr. Mary Newport discovers that coconut oil stops progression of Alzheimer's disease and may even reverse it. There you go. This video is an overview from the documentary called Gasland, which shows how a fracking drilling gas wells and the toxic chemicals in high pressure water has destroyed environment and caused illness to humans and stuff. The guy goes in his kitchen and shows his cameraman, here, watch this. He turns it on, there's air shooting out of it, and he sets it on fire and burns the hair off his arms. It's pretty good. You gotta see Gasland. Organized Chaos is an excellent analysis of the extent of which we call it spontaneous uprising of the Middle East. Fathead, a humorous, high informative. I guess that's all the time I have for. Until next time, this is Spellbinder saying, be good at it. Good day.